Prologue. Groaning, I stir myself awake from my slumber, as the maddening headache that trembles in my head fades away. I feel everything racking and bumping. Then I hear people talking. In Japanese. The heck? What the hell is happening? I thought to myself while I tried to open my eyes against the blinding light. What greets me is the ever-bright sun. I found myself sitting somewhere I don't remember. How the hell did I get outside? Did I get drunk when I found myself in Japan? I don't even remember drinking. Did I get kidnapped by the Yakuza? When my eyes finally adjusted to the light, I scanned around to see a shocking sight. 4 other people surrounded me. They all wear bizarre clothing such as the dwarf wearing full body armor and carrying swords, knives, staves, and whatnot. Most shocking was the scantily clad beauty in front of me who seemed to wear cat ears and tails. How the fuck did I find myself with a bunch of weird cosplayers? I continued to scan the surrounding vicinity. I discovered that I was riding a carriage being pulled by a bird-like animal I'd never seen before. These LARPers sure get into this. I find myself glancing at the cat woman who seems to notice I was finally awake. She began grinning and spoke to me. Hey you're finally awake. My mouth twitched, I felt like I was getting memed on. Are you going to say I was trying to cross the border next? Lady, that line is copyrighted, you know. I was going to open my mouth to complain but I stopped. I need information, better not anger the one who's going to give it to me. I calmed myself down and asked while smiling politely the best I could. What happened to me? The woman looked at me as if I was an idiot. Hey, lady, don't look at me like that. If you and your merry band of crazies didn't look good I would have done the same. I say you can get into Hollywood with this level of effort, your ears and tail are even moving, you know. Ha, that's what we want to ask. You boy were sleeping soundly in the middle of the road, we even moved you here and not a single budge on your beauty sleep, we thought you were sick. Looks like I won the bet though. Shocked, I began checking my body for injuries, and then it clicked. I notice my body isn't my body. What was supposed to be fat and otaku certified was replaced by a thin and pristine young body. I also realized that we have been conversing in Japanese. How? I don't know, but the answer came naturally in my weeb mind. I have been transmigrated. I was even wearing a primitive robe I didn't own. Shit. What am I going to do? How am I to survive without the internet and fast food? I don't even have survival skills or technical knowledge or skills. Just how am I going to survive this? Before I lost myself in despair, I took a deep breath and sighed in defeat before answering the real catgirl whom I accused as a cosplay fetishist. Honestly, I don't know. Next thing I knew I was here, just why me? I don't even get to make wishes, maybe I died in my sleep. I just hope I have cheated. Let's check. Status open, looks like nothing is happening. I'd appreciate it if you could give me water though. The cat lady laughed and said, you must have drunk something good, here boy. Handing me over a leather jug. How primitive, I thought, looked like I was in a medieval backwater. I opened the jug and took a mouthful. Where are we headed anyway? I asked as I handed the water jug back. Better collect information now than regret it later. Haha, you don't even know that boy. We're headed toward the capital of the world. Orario, she said, pointing in a certain direction. This lady sure likes to laugh a lot, what a bundle of fun she is, if only I could say the same for myself. Orario, sounds family. I stopped myself as I got a view of where she pointed, at the same time I realized how fucked I was. In the distance, I stare in awe at a ridiculously tall tower that stands surrounded by a bustling vast city. If the name and tower weren't enough to realize where I am, I'd really be an idiot. I wasn't transmigrated on a backwater medieval fantasy, I got transmigrated to a world filled with gods that play favorite, overpowered protagonists, a dungeon filled with catastrophic monsters. And worst of all, a harem show, filled with beautiful people. As I continued to gawk at the city of adventurers, a voice, of which I instinctively knew what it was, mechanical in nature, it presented me with a hovering blue screen and it said, the original creator system has been installed. Please enjoy our service. My cheat finally came. Blank. Thanks for reading. 11 comments, 0 vote. System. Status open. Almost instantly as I spoke, the magical blue prompts appeared in my sight, accompanied by virtual noises. Name. Title. Age. 16. Pathway. Empty. Subpathway. Empty. Subpathway 2. Empty. Sephiroth. Empty. Ability. Empty. Perk. Empty. System Tier 9. Please enter host name and receive rewards. A name? Shouldn't you already know my name? Well, since it's a new life, I gotta pick something that would stick. And what are these other stats? Where's my strength, agility, intelligence, or shit? Where's my HP bar? Damn it. After some thought, I decided to pick a name. How about Judas? Judas Iscariot. Yep, that strokes my 8th grader syndrome right on the spot. And it's easy to remember. Congratulations, host, for picking a name. Names have powers, for it is the origin of every being. You have received God's Betrayer perk and title. You have received the Apostate perk. You have received the Damned Faithful perk. You have received Shard of Longinus X3. You have received the Beginner Deluxe pack. You have received Beginner Common pack. Holy moly, so many. And the naming reward. I should have chosen a better name, like Adam or Jesus. Too late to regret now. I'll check them all later. For now. Open packs. You have received Instant Main Pathway, Sequence 9 Potion Option. You Sub Pathway Potion Option 2x. You have received Draw Ticket 10x for Sealed Item Gacha Beginner Banner. You have received Black Emperor Tarot Card Legendary. You have received Beginner Guide to Mysticism, Rituals, and Mysteries. You have received a Common Tarot Deck. You have received a Healing Potion 10x. You have received 10,000 Valis. Black Emperor Tarot Card. Isn't that from Lord of the Mysteries by Cuttlefish who likes diving? Don't tell me. To confirm my suspicion, I checked Main Pathway Potion. Just as I suspected, the potion contained choices for pathways such as Fool, Sun, Demoness, and whatnot. Doesn't this mean I can become a Beander? I for one won't be picking Demoness. Once I get to Orario and split up with these people, I will pick my pathway. For now, let's check. Gotcha. The floating blue screen changed to show me the Gacha page. In it, I saw the following option. Beginner Gacha, which is a one-time use only. Potion Gacha, which gives you ingredients for potions, and finally Sealed Item Gacha, which includes Sephiroths, Uniqueness, and Sealed Items, with the rarity going from Common to Legendary and God tier. The problem is that all of this gacha need points to use and I don't have any. System, how do I gain points? The host can gain points through feats, actions, and missions. The host could also exchange monster crystals for points with the ratio of 1000 monster crystals for 1 point exchange rate. What the hell, that's such a rip-off. Anyway, do I have a mission right now? Mission, join a familia, reward 200 points, unlock exclusive ability Fauna Manipulation. That's barely half a roll. Just how stingy are you? At least give me a full roll. I sighed, annoyed about the fact that I had to endure gacha hell here too. Also, what's Fauna Manipulation? The system answers. Fauna Manipulation is an exclusive tool that came from your origin that allows you to upgrade, hide, and falsify your or others' fauna. Now what the hell is an origin? Is it related to my chosen name? Or is it because I'm not from here? So many questions I need to answer. I sighed internally. System uses Draw Ticket. Might as well use them now. Affirmative. 3.2.1. You have gained the following items. Assassin Potion Uncommon. Demon Slaying Bullet 100x Common. Throwing Cards Common. Throwing Knives Common. Smoke Bomb X3. Revolver Common. Drunken Bone Rapier Unique. Cloak of Secrecy Rare. Mask of Average Rare. Boots of Haste Uncommon. I didn't even receive a legendary. Curse, my luck is still as inconsistent as ever. For now, let's check everything starting from the perk and title. God's Betrayer. Type. Title. Gods become guarded against you. Gain 300% damage against divine creature. God's Betrayer. Type. Perk. Your thoughts and intentions are hidden even against a god. Divine creatures can be enticed by your words alone. And your lies can easily be seen as the truth even by gods. The Apostate. Type. Perk. Your heretical thoughts protect you from the divine. Gain 70% damage reduction against divinity. Gods will most likely hate you. Damned Faithful. Type. Perk. Your strong belief in God gives you power. 10% of your attacks deal holy damage. These are useful, but all of it is a double-edged knife. I should have picked a better name. All of it is just inviting danger. Damn, I'll just roll with it and try to survive in secret away from the plot if it comes to it. Now on to the items. Throwing knives, sharp cards, a gun, smoke bombs, and bullets for the gun. All of these have more properties than the assassin potion that I will never even think of using. Let me see the special ones. Boots of haste. Appearance. Looks like an ordinary red boot. Ability. Channeling spirituality to it makes you move your feet faster. Drawbacks. Makes your feet smell after using. Cloak of secrecy. Appearance. A regal black cloak with fur around the hood. It is made out of leather and an unknown animal fur. Abilities. Completely hides the person's appearance under dark shadows. Drawbacks. Users become curious about secrets no matter how mundane they are. Ceiling. Needs to be washed every night. When no longer using, adorn it with an item related to sleeping. Not doing sealing causes the item to disappear and would return with a different user who would attempt to kill you. If the assailant is defeated, Cloak of Secrecy will disappear again and find a different stronger user to kill you. This would continue until you're dead. Mask of Average. Appearance. A ceramic face mask sculpted with an unknown person's face. Abilities. Make both your outward and inward appearance look average. This includes your spirituality and soul. Drawbacks. The user would spout random scientific knowledge when conversing. Ceiling. Mask of Average likes to eat books. Please feed it once every day, otherwise, your brain might get eaten. Drunken Bone Rapier. Appearance. Average looking despite everything being made out of some bones except for the metallic blade. The bones are from an angel of an unknown pathway. Ability. It depends on the wine. The sword gets stronger when given the better wine. For example, giving it 100-year-old vintage wine causes the sword to deal fatal damage continuously, causes rotting, and deals lightning and curses. Would sometimes cause users to see death perception and trigger electrocution. Drawbacks. Cause the user to be highly aggressive when fighting. Ceiling. It likes to drink wine the most, but any alcoholic beverage will do. Give it 4 times a day. Not giving it alcoholic drinks will cause the rapier to be unusable. You would also get psychosis and start hearing its complaining, for example, I'm having withdrawal symptoms. I need wine, life is a pain. And much more constantly. Shard of Longinus. Red fragments of Longinus. It is said if you collected all 70, it will transform into a god-slaying weapon. That's it, I'm dead for sure. If this world doesn't kill me, these cursed items will. I cry internally at my fate. How did it come to this? I resigned to my fate as I slumped on my seat. It has been a while since I started fiddling with the system. We have reached Orario's gate and it's almost our turn at the checkpoint. I looked at the now bickering aspiring adventurers who woke me up to this world. I coughed and stood from my seat, gaining their attention. It has been a short journey, friends, but this is where I must part ways. Thanks for saving me and leading me here. I offer you this small amount of Valis I have. I handed them out 500 Valis. They gave their thanks, and as I was about to part ways I remembered. Also, if you are ever in need of help you can look for me. My name is Judas. Judas Iscariot. Farewell, friends. That's right, from now on I'm Judas Iscariot, the sole Beander of this world. 10 comments, 0 vote. Pathways. Here's the key to your room. Do not lose it, said the woman as she handed me the bronze key. I begin to move towards my designated room, climbing staircases along the way and passing rooms. The stench was nearly unbearable, as expected of the slums. Although the place is cheap, it still doesn't seem to adhere to modern standards of basic hygiene. In my search for a shelter in Orario, I found myself renting in one of its many townhouses located in the slum, and with little Valis I have, the slum is all I could manage. Before I found this particular townhouse, I had to painstakingly avoid all kinds of dangers, from urchin child thieves to gangsters. Luckily my seemingly plain brown robe held together by a simple rope made me look like a vagrant was a good enough deterrence. Finally reaching my room, I opened the door with the key and went inside in haste. Phew, I thought the smell would kill me. If my basic knowledge of disease is right, I could probably die tomorrow. Geez, if only the system gave me enough money. If you thought 10,000 Valis is a lot, apparently it wasn't enough to rent a good room and place in the capital of the world. Every commodity is downright expensive as well. I have rented this dusty room for 2,000 Valis a month. It was better than the 5,000 a week room on the cheapest inn. I have to save Valis after all. It's not like I have enough money for my stay here. I gotta find a familia soon, of which I already have my choice. The Hestia familia will be my go-to familia. As soon as I gather my things, I will be going to the Adventurers Guild, maybe tomorrow. I still have some basic food and clothing that I received from the system. At least the smell doesn't reach here. I begin scanning the seemingly clean bed for any wrong. Can't be too sure in this place, when confirming nothing is wrong with it. All my remaining strength left me and I collapsed on it. Ah, finally, some rest. Then I took out a certain shining orange card from the inventory. Black Emperor Tarot Card, Legendary. Appearance. A unique tarot card representing the Emperor. Ability. Gives the ability of the Black Emperor pathway. Depends on your sequence level, current sequence, 8. Turns you into a specter when in use. Closing square bracket. I begin to giggle madly as I admire my legendary item. Foo-foo, isn't this op? If I drink the potion now, wouldn't it be sequence 7? I have an advanced secondary pathway. At least I have this for now. I begin jumping on the bed thanks to my excitement. Finally, after calming down after a while, I took out the main reason why I needed to find shelter first before getting a familia. Main Pathway Potion Sequence 9 Selector. Sub-Pathway Potion Sequence Selector 2x. I began analyzing my options for my pathway. If I wanted to be more charismatic, I could choose the Sun Pathway. If I wanted to be undying, I could choose the Death Pathway. Damn, if I wanted to be a girl, I could be. No way in hell though. Also, there are pathways I don't even know. So many choices, but I already made up my mind as soon as I found out my cheat system's origin. For now, let's ask the system a question. System, what's a sub-pathway? A mechanical voice then answers. Sub-pathways are your secondary pathway that evolves along with the main sequence. If your main sequence is level 9, the sub-pathways will also be level 9. So basically I get more than one pathway. But if I chose a similar pathway, wouldn't it conflict? The system is created by the original creator. It will handle any internal conflicts on the host body. That's good. So I could become a discounted Lord of the Mysteries. Now I know what my pathways will be. You have selected Thief for the main pathway, Sequence 9 Potion. You have selected Seer for the sub-pathway potion. You have selected Apprentice for the sub-pathway potion. Now that I have chosen which pathways I should read the basic guidebooks I have been given by the system, I begin reading the books, starting from Beyonders for Dummies. By the time I finished reading the countless guidebooks, midnight had passed and sunrise was almost time. I took out the potions from my inventory. I drank the Thief potion first. I begin my cogitation. I can imagine an empty throne. I try my best to detail it in my mind. I want to be the one who sits on that empty throne. Soon I can feel the potion forming within me. When it was formed, I realized it was complete. Looking around, I realize my observation becomes more detailed. For example, I naturally knew the value of the items in my room. I also knew what they were made of, their detail, and their age. I knew the dust in this room was almost 2 years old and the bed I has been using for the sexual purpose 3 days ago. I knew I was more nimble and faster. I also knew lightweight weapons suited me well. I also realized my eyes could see in the dark. I knew my hands were more agile than normal. And the knowledge of how to safely steal everything valuable in this building. Then I drank the Seer potion, starting the process all over again. After finishing, I gained my spirit vision, my mystical knowledge became more profound and my memory clearer. My intuition also becomes stronger. Then in my spirit vision, I tested it through the window and saw the people starting their morning. I could see who were adventurers and not. I could see who was a stronger adventurer, and with my thief deduction, I realized there was a level 2 adventurer on the street training with a sword. Finally, I drank the apprentice potion. After forming the potion within me, I began to realize my knowledge could be applied to certain things and how I could use them, and the knowledge before transmigration became more refined and rational. I also realized that I could pass through doors, walls, and windows easily. I also learned basic magical spells such as light. I was a trainee mage. I also began to realize what knowledge I could gain just by looking at it. Combined with all the pathways, I realized the bed was used by the female owner earlier and a customer for coitus. I didn't need this knowledge, but I do now apparently. I also realized the female owner has a husband. To hell with this powerful combination. Congratulations for successfully gaining pathways. Receive the following reward: 300 points, Apprentice of Mysteries title, and perk. New mission gained. Acting. Successfully digest the potion by acting as a thief. Finally, a plan can now start to form in my mind. But for now, so exciting, but let's sleep for now, so tired, so tired. And so my day ends by sleeping on the floor and not daring to touch the stained bed that looked clean. Apprentice of Mysteries. Type. Title. Your knowledge of mysteries is enhanced, and you become naturally more mysterious. Gain intimidation and bluff buff. Apprentice of mysteries. Type. Perk. Gain the ability to deduce secrets and mysteries easily. Slightly increase hearing, intelligence, and charisma. Finally, I'm now truly a Beander, I said, mumbling in my sleep. Blank. Name. Judas Iscariot. Titles. God's Betrayer, Apprentice of Mysteries. Age. 16. Pathway. Thief. Sub-pathway. Seer. Sub-pathway 2. Apprentice. Sephiroth. Empty. Ability. Agile hands, skullduggery, theft, superior observation, enhanced spirit vision, danger intuition, knowledge seeker, light, sprinkle, smoke, wind, door opening. Perk. God's Betrayer, the Apostate, Damned Faithful, Apprentice of Mysteries. System Tier. 9. 17 comments, 0 vote. Pissed. Download the app for additional rewards. More events, more perks. Winning you more free perks. Download now. Liblard 13. Download app now. Familia 1. It doesn't exist. The Hestia Familia doesn't exist yet. Although my plans consist of leeching from the Hestia Familia and Bellplot armor, it looks like that plan needs to be put on hold. If Hestia hasn't descended yet, it means I'm far from the original plot, at the very least it's a few years apart. I deduced it by learning that the Freya and Loki Familia exist. Now they're my only options left. But there's one Familia that I keep overlooking due to it being the worst of my choices, the Soma Familia. Ow, I groaned at the thought, and it seemed to attract the attention of the denizens of Hostess of Fertility. Yes, I have found the place after divining it with my seer powers. The attraction wasn't necessarily goodwill, I look like a proper bandit or thief after all. On my journey to search for a Familia, I had to look apart. So I dared wear my sealed item clothes. I have moved the brown robe I wore to my inventory, now I wear my cloak of secrecy and mask of average. For the insides, I had a plain long-sleeved shirt and brown pants held together by suspenders. On my sides are my set of throwing knives, my revolver, a deck of throwing cards, a belt of bullets, and a dagger. Inside the shirt, I wore leather armor and chainmail. The system has given me these items, so I might as well use it fully to my advantage. During my search for Hestia, I went to the guild and bought the beginner set for a whopping 1,000 Valis. The bottles of wine and food you have ordered, sir, the beautiful waitress said as she brought my order. I cleaned my table of tarot cards that I used for divining my next steps and thanked the waitress. I began munching on my food when suddenly, PFTT, ha ha ha, that's so weird NYA. I heard a series of giggles from the other people, especially the waitresses who were on guard at me before. Did I do something wrong? Is my new social life already over again? Aura, you Raijus feel my pain. You eat through your mask NYA. I've never seen you that before all my life here NYA. Like, NYA spoon pass through your mask NYA. Said the hysterical cat girl who approached me. I'll have you know this mask is mystical. It can even eat your brain on its own NYA. Speaking of passing through, have you heard of vectors? Historically, vectors were introduced in geometry and physics before the formalization of the concept of vector space. Shit, shut up mask, I don't need you spouting science trivia right now. I complained inwardly, this day can't just go any more wrong. When my mouth stopped, they began laughing once more at my misfortune. Just kill me already. You're an interesting guy NYA. I'm Anya Frommel NYA. What's with that mask? Is it a magic item NYA? So it turns out to be Anya. It's that brown-haired airhead catgirl. Yes, it's a magical item passed down to me, it's nothing special, that's all it can do. And no, I'm not a fugitive, I just wore this mask for traditions. Also, I'm Judas Iscariot. Pleased to meet you, Miss Anya. I lied through my teeth, I didn't want to attract unwanted attention by saying my mask is valuable and had mysterious abilities. Is that so? Sorry about that. You were giving off intimidating pressure. We thought you were some bad guy. I'm Sir Flova, by the way. Nice to meet you, Judas Kuhn. The beautiful girl beyond compare introduced herself. I felt something wrong immediately as I laid my eyes upon her. I realized I was being charmed. Shit, isn't Sir Flova that Freya? Why would she be interested in me? With all my might I resist the urge to fall to her, and then. System emergency. The host can't resist a goddess charm. Warning. 500 points have been deducted from the user. Gain Eye of the Beholder perk. Eye of the Beholder. Type. Perk. You will find it easy to find the weaknesses and flaws of others in their character. Gain 100% charm resistance perk. As I almost became dizzy from the charm, the system saved me right in time. I straightened my staggering posture and wiped the drool on my face, and grimly I answered. Nice to meet you, indeed. I almost let out a trail of vicious anger in my voice. Luckily I was able to control myself. For a moment there was a trace of shock and intrigue on Sir Flova's face, but it was gone like nothing. Anyone would have missed it, but I saw through it easily with my superior observation. Are you new in town, Judas-kun? I've never seen you before, said Sir Flova. I easily saw through her intention. She wanted information about me. I also got to know she wasn't interested in me before, but was interested in something else. I began overclocking my brain to think what could she have wanted from me before now. I activated my spirit vision and looked at myself. I realized my collection of sealed items is glowing with spirituality. My items, she wanted my items, but when I resisted her charm, she became interested in me instead. Freya could see souls. Could she have seen my items having souls? Going here was a mistake. But what is done. Perhaps I could blackmail her and assert my position of being left alone. She can see through souls. Can she see my system? Looks like she can't. She would have been interested in me beforehand. Yes, I'm new to Orario. My parents were adventurers. I thought I might do the same. This mask came from them. And so all of my other items. I'm looking into joining a familia. I lied again. My perk and title work will work. I already divined it. And as expected, Sir believed it easily. Unbeknownst to her, she had been fooled. Looks like this is quite useful. Is that so, Judas-kun? You look so strong. Perhaps you could even join Freya Familia. They're the strongest, you know. Oi, I could easily see through you, you shameless shill. What do you think I went to the trouble of getting my points deducted? Please don't send a Minotaur on my way now. At the very least, she's interested in me. I can keep my life. But I better divine it later. Ha ha ha, I'll think about it, but I don't think I'll even get a chance. Act naturally, use all my abilities to my advantage. You must be handsome under that mask. Why do you even wear it? This woman, she's dangerous without a doubt. Better not remove my mask until I lose her. Haha, not really. I just look average. I can't remove this mask. I have taken an oath, you see. It's a very important oath, you know. I can't remove my mask until then. Lie. Thank you, God's betrayer. This is getting easier. What a shame. If you ever want to take it off, I can promise I won't say to others. I'm getting shivers in my back on how persistent Sir is. I better bounce from here, before I make an accident. Ah, how delicious. I would come back here again if I had the Valis. But it looks like I'll have to go now. Thanks for the food, I said as I stood up. I gave my farewell to Anya and Sir. Thank you, please come back again, Sir said, and as I left Hostess of Fertility, I heard shouting on the streets. Breaking news. Estrella Familia has been almost wiped out inside the dungeon. Only one survived. Shock could be heard on the streets. Meanwhile, I begin to understand where I am. I also felt I was being watched. I took out a coin from my pocket and activated my spiritual vision. I start planning my escape as I calmly walk away. Then an opportunity appeared and I booked it as fast as I could. When I lost my trailer, I found myself in a secluded place. I took off my sealed items and put them in my inventory. I also changed my clothes and equipped the brown robe I had. When I left my hiding, I got a good look at my pursuer, who didn't seem to notice me as I passed by. It was the Gulliver brothers from Freya Familia. How fast, I thought, to think I'm lucky enough to fool a team of level 5s. It's all thanks to the cloak. I better seal the items properly later. Soon, I reached my rented room. And I began divining and did some ritualistic magic related to concealment. The Estrella Familia, looks like I'm 5 years early. Soon Ryu Lion will wipe out Rudra's Familia. How can I use this information? Soon I began divining again. Using all sorts of rituals such as astrology. I find out that Rudra Familia will be wiped out a week later. This is an opportunity I can't miss. For now, I should look for a Familia. My choices are Loki Familia and Soma Familia. From the outside perspective, joining Loki's Familia is more beneficial. But for me, Soma has more benefits. I have that weapon after all. If I could use Soma wine on it, I would be unstoppable. I look at my inventory towards the drunken bone rapier. This sword is my balance breaker. But Soma Familia ow. Xanis Lustra, what's the deal with that bastard anyway? That guy is such a pain for a weak level 2, if only I could deal with that bastard now. Wait a moment, deal, that's it, I can make a deal with Soma alone. This could work. A smirk forms on my face as I begin forming my plan. Looking at my reflection in a bucket of water. My charming face is smiling brightly and my splendid long black hair reflects the moon's light. Yes, this could work. 8 comments 0 vote. Familia 2. Tisk. Freya clicked her tongue in annoyance. Freya was irritated, so annoyed that she started biting her finger. The source of her grievance. A certain man named Judas Iscariot. How dare he? Freya muttered. Repeatedly. Her first interaction with the man in question is when he arrives at the hostess at dusk. It was her daily routine to work in the hostess to search for her hero, but then a man who looked average came, and yet her instinct screamed at her that he was dangerous and that she needed to be on guard against him. She didn't know why, it was the first for her to judge a mortal instantly with distaste. And so her curiosity was piqued, and she decided to look into the man more. To her surprise, she found not 1 but 4 souls. 4 souls, 2 on his head, 1 on his boots, and 1 of his soul that was so average it didn't even attract her. After taking a better look, she realized the items on him carried their souls. How revolutionary, she thought. She wanted those items for herself. Those unique souls on those items were a treasure beyond compare for her, beyond anyone else. That cloak with a soul of night and moon. It was so beautiful. So, she approached the man with the intent of charming him for his magical items. To her surprise, the man resisted. A lowly useless mortal dare resist my charm. She seethed. And oh, his anger. Did he think she had missed his anger? For a moment it showed. I have my woman's intuition for this matter. You are too young to challenge me, mortal. Ah, Freya moaned. How lovely. This feeling, and all his actions, look average beyond compare. From his movement and intonation, it was as if he was acting. A husk of a man. How dare he? Freya felt she was being toyed with throughout their interaction. She was sure of it. Call it a woman's intuition, but she was sure of it. Ah, how lovely, being played by a scum mortal. It was the first time for her to feel this way, both exhilaration and hatred erupted within her. He could be my villain. The scum that will defile me in front of everyone as the hero saves me. If only you were more extraordinary. How contradicting, a man average beyond compare, can resist the talent of a god. So much better, if you were only so much better. As she was thoughtfully thinking of the man, her lovely little children. Freya Sama, forgive us but we have lost him. There was shame in his eyes. Sadness and disappointment as well in his voice. But it didn't matter to Freya. He was beautiful and better than him. Excitement can be felt within her. If only he's better. To think a fauna-less man escaped you, just how many secrets does he have? Fufu, what a mysterious mortal. Her hatred didn't stop her from admiring the mortal for his abilities. So thrilling, she thought. An unblessed escaped against a group of level 5s against all odds. If anyone heard this tale, they wouldn't believe it. He has humiliated yet again. Fufu, this feeling, I can't get enough of it. Ecstasy is dripping within her voice as she says those words. Then anger erupted from the palm. If we use all our resources, we might be able to find this lowly dreg. Please allow us, Freya Sama, to lynch this man. Her child shouted in passionate anger. Do not worry, my child. A mortal man of his caliber of skills dares escape you only to be gone as if he didn't exist only means he's skilled enough to hide from anyone. What a mysterious fellow. It only means he will show himself when he allows it. What a hateful mortal, teasing me this way. Fufu, Freya is so conflicted. She doesn't fancy the man yet she wants him to continue having his way with her. For now I shall enjoy this new feeling. This feeling gifted by him. For the first time in her lifetime, Freya disliked a mortal. Meanwhile, somewhere near the base of Soma Familia, a boy is obscured by the shadow of the moonlight. Gets a shiver on the back of his spine. Blank, underscore, blank. Under the serene moonlight, in the darkness of the night. Soma, the god of winery, is toiling away with his craft, attempting to perfect his new wine. Soma does this daily without rest, nothing else matters, and his obsession doesn't permit him to think of anything less. He couldn't care less about his familia. And so when he noticed a person sitting in the corner of his personal brewery room, he was sure that his time is near. One of them has finally lost it. He thought, thinking about his mess of a familia. Just a moment, I'm almost done, said Soma without a care for the world. Please continue your work, Lord Soma, I shall patiently wait, said the person. Young and unknown, a voice Soma have never heard before. An assassin perhaps. Sent by who? Did I offend someone? Is Xanis finally done with me? I doubt it. Perhaps the guild sent him. Too many questions to bother. Let's finish first. And so Soma continued finishing his work. This one is no good too. Finally done with his work. Soma criticized the newly made wine. So what do you want? With haste, Soma directly strikes the root of the matter. And finally, he got a good look at his unknown assailant. Dressed plainly, a pale and tall boy with long black hair stood up on his seat. On his waist was a singular rapier and nothing more. I'll be direct, Lord Soma, I want to cut a deal with you, the boy said enthusiastically. I'm not interested, other than matters of wine, you should talk to Xanis Lustra, the captain of my familia. Without hesitation, Soma answered. Oh, but this is matters of wine, Lord Soma. One that without a doubt beneficial for both of us. And Xanis. Xanis is Xanis, let's leave it at that. Humorously the boy answered back. Soma finally decides to fully focus on the boy. He realized the boy was entirely truthful, but for some reason, he can't get a good read at the boy. It's the first time this has happened, and for that reason, Soma's curiosity was piqued, albeit slightly. So Soma decided to play ball. I'm not selling you my brews, Soma countered. I'm not looking to buy it. Rather, I'm looking forward to you giving it to me for free, Lord Soma. Confidently the boy said. Ho, what makes you think I'll give you my wine for free, boy? Now Soma was intrigued, this preposterous offer was new to him. A rare smirk could be seen on his face. For you see, my lord, in this partnership, you will get your chance to further your craft by leaps and bounds. Decisively the boy answered. Give me the details, if this is a farce, I'll have you hunted by everyone. I'm quite rich, you know. Finally, Soma gave in to his curiosity, a chance to increase his craft. Very well, I shall humor you, boy. Well then, Lord Soma, let me present you, this bone rapier. Grandly the boy held the rapier towards him. Soma held out his hand and grabbed the rapier. It was light and agile despite its looks. And what's so special about this sword? Said Soma almost in disappointment. You see, Lord Soma, this sword. He likes to drink wine, teasingly the boy answered. What of? Almost in anger Soma asked, but he was too late and was cut off by the boy. It gets stronger depending on the wine quality, the boy announced grandly. And then Soma was shocked at the proclamation. He suddenly looked at the boy in shock. Wouldn't that mean? You say that it's possible? Soma was cut off again. Indeed, with this sword, we can assert the wine quality and your progress accurately. Soma was almost annoyed that he was cut off again, but excitement filled him that so couldn't care less. He thought of the possibilities, perhaps with this sword he could break through his bottleneck. He needs to ask more questions. What are the limitations? Who made this sword? Soma inquired, not caring about anything else anymore. As far as I know, none. My family for tens of generations. Good, good. So what do you want? Valis, anything you want, I'll give you this sword, said Soma. He will use everything to get this sword. Ah, we can't have that, Lord Soma. This is a partnership offer after all, my lord. Pained, the boy said. Partnership, okay, state your terms, I'll do anything you want. Damn the consequences, just tell me already what you need. You see, Lord Soma, I am an aspiring adventurer and have needs for this sword. If Lord Soma allows me to join his familia and gives me his blessing, it would be helpful. I also will only answer to Lord Soma, I couldn't care less about Xanis. Of course, I will be loyal only to you, Lord Soma. Also, the sword have needs 4 bottles of wine every day, I have already given it 3 today. So what do you think, Lord Soma? Soma starts weighing the pros and cons in his mind. He realized this partnership is too good of a deal to pass. He gets an adventurer under him and more importantly the sword. But there's still a problem that needs to be addressed. Xanis wouldn't like it, said Soma dejectedly. Leave dealing with Xanis to me, Lord Soma, with you and this sword. We'll be unstoppable. So my lord, do you accept this partnership? Said the boy as he held out his hand. The boy was so confident, he was really something. To say everything so truthfully, Soma was impressed. But he still needed to test him. Very well, I accept. So why don't we have a toast for our bright partnership, boy, testingly said Soma as he handed him a glass of one of his perfected wines. To our wonderful partnership, said Soma with a smirk as the boy drank the wine. Expecting the boy to be in a drugged mess, he waited as the boy gulped the wine. But what happened next surprised him beyond anything else. The supposedly drugged boy looked at him and smiled as if unaffected by his wine. Impossible, he thought. To our wonderful partnership. And so, Lord Soma was enticed by a deal with the devil. Thanks for reading. Next chapter is about acting, also might get into it next week or perhaps the next day. Liblard 13 creators, thoughts. 20 comments, 0 vote. Preparations. Familia mission completed. As per host conditions, he will not receive points in exchange for heavy drinker perk and will only get fauna manipulations. Before approaching Soma, I negotiated with the system. Surprisingly, the system was open to the idea of giving me a perk to resist Soma's drink. I was expecting to drink Soma wine one day, but I didn't expect for it to come so soon. Luckily, the system is here to help me. My evaluation of the system rose. The system isn't as black-hearted as I thought. It's a fair system that assists me the most. As long as I have enough points, I can get away from perilous situations. Praise the system, I exclaimed inwardly as I lay on my back. Conditions have been met. Fauna manipulation is activated. Fauna is currently being activated. Please choose a name and set the settings for your fauna. How odd, this should be instantly finished, Soma said, confused. Hearing that, I hurriedly decided my choices. As for the name, I already have thoughts about it. I hid all my abilities and perks from the fauna with the help of fauna manipulation except for some abilities and skills. Lupin Hood, Level 1, Strength 0I, Endurance 0I, Dexterity 0I, Agility 0I, Magic 0I, Skill. Apprentice of Mysteries, the user is sufficiently knowledgeable about mysteries, occult, and mysticism. Developmental abilities. Thief, the user is skilled in thievery. Seer, the user is highly skilled in divination and ritualistic magic. Magic, light cast a flicker of fire. Sprinkle cast a sprinkle of water. Smoke releases smoke from the designated body. Wind cast a gust of wind. Door opening can pass through walls and doors easily. Wah, Soma yelped in shock, but I already why. With this kind of status, Soma should welcome me with open arms. With this status, I don't think he would be disappointed. For the name, I choose Lupin Hood, a combination of Arsene Lupin and Robin Hood. They were great thieves in my past life, so borrowing their names shouldn't be a problem. So your name is Lupin Hood. In my excitement, I almost forgot to ask you. Soma saying resignedly. Yes, Lord Soma, please forgive me for rudely not introducing myself, I was too excited. I lied, I planned everything perfectly, and you were baited magnificently. Indeed, indeed, but to think you were this skilled for a mortal, now with my blessing you could be even greater. But a question still lingers in my mind, even Loki and Freya would have welcomed you with open arms and given you the best treatment. So tell me, Lupin, why me? Why my familia? Surely you have heard of the rumors of my stance with my familia. It's merely a tool to perfect my winemaking, Soma said. He seemed curious and disappointed about something. His dissatisfaction with his familia didn't go unnoticed, but I couldn't care less. To be honest, Lord Soma, I had the same thoughts before coming here. But in reality, I don't think I would fit right in those familia. The Loki familia is too big for my liking. Such a familia is bound to have many rules that will hinder my goals. Call it an incompatibility with ethics in simpler terms, and Freya familia. I simply don't wish to wag my tail in front of the goddess of beauty. With a passionate voice I spoke. PFF'd, you don't want to wag your tail for her. That's the first I've heard from someone else regarding her. Your answer is interesting, but it doesn't answer everything. Surely you still had other options. Also call me Soma instead. A rare humor emerged from Soma's voice as he said. As you say so, Soma-sama. The truth is, the answer to your question is simple, Soma-sama. The reason is that I believed. You believed? Soma confusedly repeated. Indeed, I believe in the ability of Soma-sama. I believe in your ability to make the best wine. I believe with Lord Soma, I can truly be free. I revealed theatrically. Shock and awe could be seen on Soma's face. The usually hard-to-read God was showing me such a side would shock anyone. Then a genuine smile formed on his face. With this, I can truly be assured that Soma is on my side. Truly, for someone like you to depend on me. Very well, I shall answer your beliefs with the same vigor. From now on, I shall help you gain the freedom you seek. I will guide you with the best of my abilities and protect your freedom with my might. Soma said, emotion filling his voice. Thank you, Soma-sama, I said. With this, he is properly hooked. If only he knew. I was laughing inwardly as this charade goes on. If this continues, I might lose control of myself. Good thing my acting holds it up. Bless the internet for exposing me to such entertainment. With this, I shan't intrude on you any more longer, Soma-sama, I said, disheartened. Ah, indeed, it's already past midnight. Before you leave, have this. Soma went away for a moment to rummage his cabinets and returned with a thick sack of valise and handed it over to me. This is, I asked worriedly, 100,000 valise. Think of it as an investment towards our partnership. You seem worthy enough of my attention, so have it. Come back tomorrow if you want more. Also register to the guild quickly later after you have your rest. Although our partnership was done in secret, you still need to register under my name. This is non-negotiable. I don't want troubles with the guild. As you command, Lord Soma. I will leave this rapier to you for now, I answered with slight worry. Don't worry, no one will know this sword exists under my hand. I left Soma's place after that after a quick farewell. The following day will be long. I still need to go to the guild to register as an adventurer later, and there would be an introductory course for starter adventurers. I don't know how long, but I need a quick nap. I'm not exactly sleepless. The night finished with me having 100,000 valise, a strong weapon for the trump card, and a god under my palm at my disposal. This can't get any better. Blank, _, blank. As I enter the guild, bustling activities greet me. All forms of adventurers going about their own business, from humans to rugged beastmen to the elegant high elves, countless races are present here. Some dealing with transactions, and some having a pleasant conversation, a few are even shouting due to disagreements only to be escorted out. How peaceful. Usually, a fight happens every few blocks or so in the city of adventurers, but the guild seems to be an exception despite attracting all kinds of troublemakers. Well, I better be careful. Have you heard of what happened? The Estrella Familia, right? Rumors Rudra Familia did it. Yeah, they too were wiped out. Who will police Orario now? I walked towards the counter against the crowded hall. Right now I'm wearing a black Victorian-style long coat that I adorned with protection such as shoulder guard and elbow protection. Under it is leather armor that protects my chest. For below, I bought black pants held by a regular leather belt and knee protection. I looked properly like an adventurer. How can I help you, sir? Said the gorgeous clerk behind the counter. Seriously, why is every woman in this world so beautiful? If it weren't for my anti-charm perk, dealing with women would leave me as a red blubbering mess. I would like to register to the guild as an adventurer. Saying so as I try my best not to turn into an embarrassment. Please fill out this form, said the clerk as she handed me the form and a pen. I took it and started looking for a free space to write. When I found one, I began writing on the paper. How nostalgic. Ever since I became a NEET I have never had to fill a form again, but to think I would get the chance to do it again. The form was simple. It asked for my name, age, address, level, and familia. It had other interesting questions such as, why do you want to become an adventurer, or, did you have a familia before your current one, etc. All in all, it was pretty simple, and I was quickly done with it. On more important matters, I seemed to understand the writing despite not knowing anything about the language. The English equivalent of the global language in this world is called Koine, the common dialect, it's Japanese. But other races have their languages that I still need to learn if I'm going to be a proper Beander. How else could I unravel the mysteries of this world? I stood up from my seat and handed the completed form to the earlier clerk. Please wait for your advisor over there, said the woman. So I began my wait for my future advisor as I think of my plans. When my advisor arrived, it was in the form of a young pink-haired girl who was another beauty. She introduces herself. Hello, sir, I'm Misha Flott, a new advisor. I shall become your advisor and help you to the best of my abilities. How stiff. And what a surprise. She's certainly different from the Misha Flott I see on TV. Well, we just met, so it's too early to know. I'm Ju, Lupin Hood, pleased to work with you. Ah, I almost blew my cover. Pleased to meet you too, Mr. Lupin. For now, how about I introduce you to guild guidelines and facilities? Enthusiastically she starts explaining. The long explanation about the rules of being an adventurer, the guild, orario, history, and the dungeon. I was more interested in monsters and monster bosses, and so when the topic started, I began asking questions about them. Our discussion proceeds smoothly as my schedules and plans for the future start manifesting in my mind. When our talks ended, she seemed exhausted but glad at the same time. Ah, I'm so relieved you're so easy to talk to, Mr. Lupin. You wouldn't believe how nervous I was about what to expect of my first client, explained Misha. Haha, is that so? I wouldn't know about others, but not everyone is out there to eat you alive. I said. It seems so. Her twinkle as she looks at me. With this, I should receive a good evaluation. It's all thanks to Mr. Lupin. No problem. It has been an enlightening conversation for me as well. Let's continue working together. I smiled as I said. Sure, Mr. Lupin. She is really happy. Well, I guess she's not so bad. If only she was a little bit older, I might have fancied her. I prefer Oni-san and OL's types after all. Tomboys are good too. She's pretty cute with her short pink hair and in her guild uniform. Well, I still have things to do, and it looks like we're finished here, so. I said. Ah, you're already leaving, Mr. Lupin. Misha yelped in disappointment. Yes, I still have something important to do, and I need to check the dungeon. So, I held out my hand to her. Ah, is that so? To think my charm wouldn't work against you. I was sure you would stay here to spend all day with me. Poor me, teasingly she said as we shook hands. Haha, you jest. Well, then I'll be on my way. I said while laughing. I observed it as nothing but good-natured teasing. Until next time, Mr. Lupin, and please take care in the dungeon. Misha Flott shouted as I bid farewell to her. When I left the guild, I proceeded to my next plan. It's time to test my skills in the dungeon. Hopefully, I wouldn't die. Blank. Added some parts one forgot to add. Thanks for reading. 16 comments 0 vote. Acting I. Shing. Plop. I stabbed the goblin that lunged at me on time. As I pulled out my danger from the gored head, the goblin slowly disintegrated into nothingness. Meanwhile, the other goblins that surrounded me became agitated. Craw. One of the goblins screamed and then charged at me. To meet its charge in exchange, I lunged myself forward with the dagger in one hand, and a revolver in the other. I began shooting the other goblins as I approached the charging one. Bang bang bang, my shots landed perfectly at the other goblins. They dropped dead like flies. Soon, after a brief confusion, they all started charging. 15 goblins left, 3 dead. Before coming here, I purposely let the goblins surround me. Using divination, I was able to predict that I could escape from them easily. But I didn't come here to run away, I was here to test myself. The leading goblin strikes with his club. I dodge it by moving to my sides as I charge its head with my dagger. My dagger landed on its cranium with ease. I begin moving for the next one, clumsily dodging the rocks thrown by little buggers while at it. The fight would last for 10 minutes more. I finished it off by kicking down the last goblin and stabbing it 5 times as it howled in pain. Surprisingly, killing the little critters is easy. The problem was the sickening feeling of stabbing fleshy living meat and the following painful screams for their lives. That will take time to get used to. I grabbed my coat and adventurer bag off the rock wall where I threw it before the fight. Luckily I did that, otherwise, my drenched shirt of monster blood would be visible to anyone. The fight was all in all, messy. My skills are subpar, but I make up for it with Thief's natural abilities and the dangerous intuition of a seer. For someone like me, it was okay. Or so I thought. Haha, did you see that Ace? What a shitty fight. That's so funny, he got no skill at all. For someone who makes a lot of noise, he sure is pathetic. He's lucky he has that weapon. Said the silver-haired male. Isn't he a werewolf? Also, did he just call the blonde girl beside him Ace? Now that I look at her, she does look like Ace Wallenstein. So that's what the sword princess looks like in real life. What a beauty. Then the loud-mouthed werewolf should be Betloga. To think I get to encounter them this early. I expected to be ignored as they walked past by. But Betloga stopped in front of me. Oi, you, why don't you let me see that weapon of yours? Ha, Bet Loga said as he stares me down. I looked at him calmly and said one word. No, ha, you bastard. Bet almost lashed out and was stopped by Ace with a simple call. Bet, said Ace. It seemed our exchange caught her attention. Bet clicked his tongue and walked away. What an obedient dog, I thought. I thought that was the end of it as Bet Loga walked away with his tail wagging happily. But to my surprise, Ace walked towards me and said, "You're too stiff, work on your movements." As soon as she finished saying that, she left without letting me say anything to her and went deeper into the dungeon. Looking back at them, I smiled bitterly and went towards the surface with her advice lingering in my mind. When I reached the surface, I looked at the item that dropped from one of the goblins I killed. Why the hell am I attracted to goblin liver? System, what is this item? This item is a potion ingredient for your pathway. Host. Generating new mission. Please wait. New mission generated. Find Swindler potion ingredients. Goblin liver x3. War Shadow's hair. Needle rabbit fangs 2x. 90 milliliters. Of orc's blood. Now I have a goal in mind. Blank, underscore, blank. All capable Beyonders need to do acting method if they want to properly digest the potion within them. Right now I can feel the potion within me in its full form. If I don't digest it properly I will not be able to advance. Normally, Beyonders of such cases lose control of their Beyonder powers and turn into a monsters. But as a system holder, I am free of such worries and only have to do acting. Acting in simpler terms is to perform your designated role. Just like the actors behind the movies, Beyonders need to do their chosen roles. Right now, my role is a thief. To act as a thief I of course need to steal from others. That's why I found myself pickpocketing adventurers under a disguise I brought. I am currently wearing a messy wig and fake beard I bought to disguise myself as I wore my beloved brown robe. It was relatively easy to pickpocket the passerby, but I chose my target carefully every moment. I have stolen a total of 7,000 valis. A hefty sum for little trouble. While I filled my coffers with the wallets of the masses, I didn't ease my main objective, which is to stalk and gather information about the Rudra Familia. As I observed their base, I learned there were at least 20 level 1s, 5 level 2s, 1 level 3, 1 level 4, and 1 level 5 on the lookout. Why the hell do they have so many adventurers? Didn't they get wiped out? I bet they're Evolus members, damned Evolus. I continue to stalk the surrounding area as I pickpocket people. Occasionally, I would approach the targets to give them money under the guise of donations for their losses. They happily accept it. I'm a fan. I heard the Rudra Familia was almost wiped out. To think such a thing happened, please accept my condolences. He, thank you, old man, Rudra Sama would be happy with your help. The thugs snicker as they pocket my hard-earned money. Unbeknownst to them, I was using the Black Emperor Tarot card to cast bribe at them to weaken them. Little by little I was able to bribe them all. It's great they're a bunch of easily fooled idiots. As expected of cliched villainous henchmen. The day was going great when I felt a killing intent being directed at me thanks to my danger intuitions. When I looked for the source, I saw Ryu Lion. I had spotted her earlier surveilling the Rudra Familia. I didn't dare approach her earlier for fear that she would recognize me as an enemy. But to think my action would attract her ire. Relax, we're on the same side. That is what would I like to say, but I smiled at her. She was currently disguised, but I could easily see through her with my observation abilities. Looks like she'll make her move tonight. I left the area after that short exchange, but before I exited, I noticed someone approaching me. Looking at the approaching figure, it was short and childlike. A kid, I thought. When the figure nears me, it grabbed my cloak and with sparkling eyes looked at me. Hey, mister, Lily thinks you're good. Can you teach Lily? Expectantly, the little girl looked at me with puppy-like eyes. Blank, underscore, blank. Hey, mister, please teach Lily how to pickpocket like you. Lily will even call you master. The little girl said as she tugged my robe while we walked. I sighed at this. Deciding I had enough, I went to a nearby ramen stall and ordered food. Get your food, girl. This malnourished girl should be someone I know. These days have been hectic. I keep meeting the main cast of the show right one after another. Does that mean you will teach Lily? Please take care of Lily, master. Looking at the little brown-haired girl who excitedly ordered her food while looking at me expectantly, I begin to choose my words carefully. What's your name, girl? I asked as I slurped my ramen. My name is Lily. Before she could continue, I cut her off and said. You lie, your name is Lily Rukaard. I looked at her eyes directly, I could see her face pale. Her eyes started darting around in fear. Ah, are you a god, mister? I can hear the quiver and fear in her voice. I didn't answer, this could work. I thought as I plan out my next moves. Are you going to introduce yourself? I said again. Lily is sorry Kami-sama. Lily is indeed Lily Rukaard of the Soma Familia, and I'm 10 years old. Please forgive Lily. Lily would like to leave Inosubai by Kami-sama. Thinking she could escape as soon as she gulped down her food as fast as she could, she made a run for it. But my quick hands had already grabbed the back of her hood before she took off. She found herself choking in her lapel. Relax, didn't you want to learn from me? I, the great Joker, will teach you. I said as I chuckled and placed her back down on her seat. As soon as I finished my words, she looked at me in shock. Her eyes started lighting up like before. Really, Kami-sama? You will teach Lily? Lily is so happy. Joy returned to her again. Yes, the great Joker will teach you his way personally. I continue to chuckle as I interact with her. What a funny little kid. So, how do you do that with your hands? And how can you get away without anyone noticing? Kami-sama surely must be the god of thieves. Lily would also like to know how to. She continues to barrage my questions. For now, how about I teach you how to train your hands? I begin explaining hand movements to her. Since she's so eager to know, I will teach her everything I know, and I will groom her properly. And in turn, she will reward me greatly by becoming my ally. Looking at her struggling to move her hands, I begin to think of the possibilities. What is important is choosing your target carefully. Also, it would help if you know divination. Hook. Divination. Bait. I took a deep breath and looked at her seriously. Do you want to become a Beander, little Ard? And the sinker. Blank, _ blank. Thanks for reading. This chapter cannot be edited even if I try. 24 comments 0 vote. Acting 2. Beyonder. Confusedly little Ard asked. Beander. Beyonder. This magnanimous Joker will teach you the secrets of Beyonders. I said with a hush. I leave the little girl in a secluded place. If this was Earth, I would have long arrested and interrogated harshly for approaching the lowly. Don't worry FBI, I'm just teaching my disciple the secrets of Beyonders. I'm not doing anything illegal at all. Lord of the Opai, please save me from this officer. Once we reached the secluded place, I gave Ard a head pat. Kami-sama, Lily doesn't know what a Beander is, but she will try her best to learn from Kami-sama. Said Ard, if only she knew how hard is it to be a Beander, and so I explained to her the dangers. Beyonders are sorrowful bastards who threw away their humanity for different reasons. Some for power, some for riches, and some for an extraordinary life, but every Beyonders are the same in regards to the fact they walk a life filled with death and madness. I said with a voice full of sorrow. Really, Kami-sama? Well, Lily doesn't think it will be much different from her current life then. Ard looked down and clutched her hood, anger and loneliness erupting within her. I looked down at her and put my hands on her head. What a poor child, if only you were born with more loving parents. Don't worry, from now on, this liar will give you the power to succeed in life, you only need strength and wit to counter its dangers. Without a doubt, she has ample supplies. For now, I shall teach her everything, only time will tell what she could become. For now, I shall introduce you to the basics. Listen carefully now, I will not repeat myself. Saying such things, I begin earnestly teaching her the mystics of Beyonders. Her eyes were full of focus as she learned from me. She would ask me questions from time to time, and I would answer truthfully. As the day goes by, our lessons are reaching its end. By the end of it, she was exhausted. And we became much closer. She now calls me Joker-sama while I call her little Ard or Ard. Wah, to think such mysterious people exist without Lily knowing. The world is really big, said Lily while exhausted. The world is a vast place. Although Beyonders are my creation and there are few of us, we value secrecy the most. Remember, the secrecy of the Beyonders is vital, otherwise, the world will hunt us down. I patiently lied. The truth is, I'm the only Beander in this world, and soon you little Ard will be too. Of course, Joker-sama, Lily will not utter a word to anyone, not even her patron god. If only Soma-sama is like Joker-sama. She looked despondent and hesitantly asked the following. Joker-sama, please, let Lily join your familia. In tears she said as she grabbed my lap. I refuse, I don't want to have a familia right now. Also, your destiny lies in the Soma familia. I said abruptly to her dismay. My destiny. Yes, little Ard, 5 years from now, if you continue with the Soma familia, you will gain your freedom thanks to your destined one. My destined one? I don't want to. I want to be with Joker-sama instead. Being with my familia is hard and painful. Now, as I try to calm her down, I begin thinking about the future. It's not like I can bestow her a fauna, although I can upgrade her fauna and my own. I dare not to for now, the trouble it would bring is too immense while I was still a fish in the puddle. I at least have to wait until I become a demigod Beander before I start my familia. For now, this kind of interaction will do. To calm her down, I took items from my inventory such as Beander guidebooks and a certain potion. While she wiped her eyes and snot, I presented the items to her. Look, this here is my gift to my new disciple. Be grateful to Joker-sama, this book and potion are personally made by him. I said as I presented the items. This is for Lily, so many, and this potion, could it be? Art exclaimed as she gazed intently at the purple potion. I whacked her head to stop her stupor and said. This here is indeed a pathway potion, it's the sequence 9 potion of assassin. But first, you must read this book to build your foundations before even attempting to drink this potion. Listen to this Joker carefully. She looks at me intently as she mends her head with her hands. Quote. Cogitation. Hear me. Cogitation is very important. It is a must. Otherwise, you will turn into a lump of meat holes that don't know anything but breed. Do you want that to happen? To turn into a monster? I notice her shiver and pale as she shakes her head at the thought. Although it pains this great Joker to not guide you through the process, with your cunning, I can rest assured. You are by far the smartest when it comes to my disciples. I proclaim. She looked proud at my statement as she pumped her chest up. How adorable, I thought. Remember to prepare well for your ritual. Because to be a Beander is to walk the path of death and madness. Understood, Joker-sama, Art continued as she nodded her head repeatedly. Well, that's all I can teach you for now. The great Joker still has important matters to attend to, so this one shall take his leave. Where will you go now, Joker-sama? Ard looked sad as she asked. This Joker-sama needs to watch one of his favored ones to conduct his performance at the Rudra Familia business, I eagerly explained myself with a smile. Rudra Familia? Didn't they get wiped out? Why does he need to perform for them? Curiously, Ard said. Oh ho, this performance will be different, little Ard, for you see. I begin explaining to her the situation and how Rudra Familia is part of Evolus, putting adlibs and little lies along the way. As expected of Joker-sama. Joker-sama is filled with righteousness and justice. Lily couldn't be happier, Ard commented. Of course, this Joker detests harm to humanity the most. I shouted while smiling. So this great Joker will leave now, study well, little Ard. As I left Ard, she shouted at me and asked. How will I find you, Joker-sama? Thinking of how I replied. Come here again and call me, I will know, I said mysteriously. I left Ard after that and headed towards my goal. Although I left her abruptly, I got a feeling I knew where she would be as she sneaked glances towards the direction of Rudra Familia's home base. Blank. The cold wind grazes my face as I stand on a rooftop near Rudra Familia lodgings. The translucent moonlight reflects in my eyes as I wait for the inevitable bloodshed that is coming. A strong gust of wind passed by me and I felt the fur of my cloak of secrecy flutter as the wind hit me. My metallic mask of average would sometimes reflect the moonlight as I moved my gaze. My boots of haste shakes in fear and anticipation, just like my hand that carries the Black Emperor tarot card. It was already past midnight, the perfect time to engage in a massacre when the street is empty and everyone is asleep. When I heard the countless screams of alarm and cries for help from the Rudra Familia, I knew it was time. What was inevitable had come, but in fear, I stood frozen in place as I listened to their shouts. Somebody help. Someone, please. Arg. Enemy attack. Enemy attack. An intruder has infiltrated the building. Joseph is already dead. What's going on out there? I took a deep breath and calmed my shaking boots. What has come, has come. As a thief, it's time for me to reap the benefits of this event. It's do or die. I might as well get this done. I said, conceding to the inevitable. I activated my boots of haste and moved toward the ongoing battlefield while praying in my heart that everything would go well. The Emperor wears no clothes. I chanted in English, activating the Black Emperor tarot card as I moved towards the bloodshed. Blank, _ blank. Chapter end. Thanks for reading. Edit. Added a few lines I missed. 13 comments, 0 vote. Trial by fire. Somehow, it was surprisingly easy to infiltrate the Rudra Familia thanks to the ensuing chaos erupting. From time to time, as I passed through walls, I would encounter Evolus members running towards the battlefield. In turn, I hid my presence and went around them. Unexpectedly, they had more adventurers than what I initially gathered. As I move around in the shadow in a specter state, I check the black royal armor provided by the Black Emperor tarot card transformation. It looked regal and imposing, it was even trimmed with gold linings, it even comes with cape and crown fit for royalty. As the ensuing massacre continues above, I have finally found their precious treasury locked behind a safe door. It was perfectly unguarded as I predicted. When I passed through the door using door passing, what greeted me on the other side was mountains of valise and treasures. As expected of an evil organization, I struck rich. Magical items littered the floor, large sacks filled to the brim with valise, magic weapons, and stones too many to count lay scattered around the room, all of them ripe for the taking. But before I started robbing the place, I checked the place for fail-safes and traps, of which, as expected, there were countless. So I start the grueling process of removing traps of all kinds, even magical. If not for my thief abilities, I would have been incapacitated by these traps. Thankfully I chose thief. Finally, I began the process of tidying up the place of Rudra Familia treasury by putting whatever the most valuable first in my inventory. I started with the sack of valise filled to the brim first. As the sole pirate on this ship, only I did the long arduous process of heavy lifting. It was surprisingly satisfying to move all this treasure into my infinite inventory knowing they all are now mine. I didn't let go of a single valise or nugget of gold untouched as I threw all of them towards the inventory. Coming all the way here was worth it for all the trouble it brought. I giggled silently as I remembered the donations I had given them earlier. God Soma would surely be thankful to me now. I looked proudly at the emptied treasury and admired my work when I was done. The fighting upstairs still seems to be ongoing, evident from the constant erupting shockwave of the explosion that makes the ceiling drop dust from time to time. I still need to head toward Rudra's office where all important documents are held. This short window of opportunity will determine my future. I need whatever information I can get against Evolus if I were to thrive in this world. And so, I walk towards the most dangerous part of this area, at the center of combat and the precipice of action, above ground. Blank, _ blank. It didn't take long to find Rudra's office. It was in the topmost room that overlooks the entire villa, and adjacent to it was Rudra's bedroom. His office contained his painted portrait just like his bedroom. It didn't take a genius to know where I was. I started taking every paper I could find, starting from the safe hidden behind the painting. How typically villainous, I thought, before I started wondering if Rudra's an idiot. I start my work again. From secret drawers to hidden safes, no paper is left unturned. From the simplest letter to the thick ledgers, they all head toward my inventory. The plan was going smoothly until I noticed a certain book that was mysteriously attracting me. As I grabbed it and put it in my inventory, the door suddenly opened and someone made an entrance. My luck has finally run out when I notice the robed level 3 adventurer strides inside. The sword on his hilt didn't go unnoticed as I carefully positioned myself in the room. When he finally noticed me, he said in a surprised voice, "Who are you?" "I'm in charge of the cleanup," I replied calmly as I silently cast bribe. He looked confused and was about to reply, but I had already drawn my gun and aimed at his head. Without hesitation, I pulled the trigger. Bang! Arg! Bastard, what did you do? I looked at him in shock as he didn't drop dead like I had expected. The man clutched his forehead in pain as he drew his sword at me. It only took him a moment to close the distance and strike at me. Dodge! Dodge! My danger intuition screamed at me and I bent myself backward while kicking myself away from him. He missed his strike, but I was already on the move. I threw my throwing knives at him at his feet. It landed on his thighs. He then moved to strike me once more. From the looks of it, the lodge knives didn't even hinder his movements a little. I dodged his strike once more when it landed on a desk. It left wreckage. I shivered at the thought. It seems he was only a little above me in terms of strength thanks to the brute ability of my Black Emperor tarot card. I drew my dagger with my right hand while casting smoke on it to cover its length, meanwhile on the other hand I cast light. This surprised him and made him guarded as I pretended to chant. Oh, can you even bear to imagine? He hastily attacked me while I dodged each strike. It seemed we had equal speed, but I made up for it with my agileness. Slowly and surely I lead him towards the thinner parts of the floor. Pretending to slip on the floor as I stopped the intensifying fire on my hand, I dropped on the floor without much defense. As expected, he took the bait and swung his sword with all its might. The second it struck the weak floor, I was already out of the way as he fell towards below. The drop was long as he fell on his back. I didn't let the chance slip by. I followed him through the fall and landed on him. He was groaning in pain while I aimed my revolver at his head once more. Bang bang bang. I unloaded my bullets on his head continuously until I ran out. One of his eyes exploded in gore. But it still wasn't to kill the tough bastard because as soon as I was done he kicked me off his body. As soon as I landed on my butt, I scanned the surroundings, only to find my gunshot had attracted countless Evolus members and a certain bloodied elf in shock. I of course ran towards the elf for help while I screamed like a little girl. Thankfully, my arrival was surprising enough to stop the ensuing battle and confuse everyone. I approached Ryu Lion and said, "Yo, Gale Wind, mind if I join the party?" I said as I drew heavy breath tiredly. "Who are you?" There was hostility and madness in her eyes as she asked me while aiming her staff at me. "Relax, we're on the same side, I hate Evolus bastards too." I lied as naturally as I breathed. She looked at me with judging eyes intently. After a short moment, she returned her attention to the level 5 she was fighting. I sighed with relief at her action. As I scanned the battlefield, I spotted Rudra joyously slurping wine on his throne as he watched us without a care for the world. I would love to cut the pompous bastard myself, but looking at Ryu Lion I was thinking of ways to escape from here. She began to talk again. "What do you want?" Ryu Lion said. "Well, currently Gale Wind, I have stolen important documents about Evolus that the guild would like to have, so why not?" Realizing my intentions, Ryu Lion stopped me from speaking and glaringly said, "I'm not running away from here," Ryu Lion said with stricken madness. Whoa, fine, we might as well kill them all together. Geez, damn it, I grit my teeth at the situation. As I looked at the odds and the seemingly hundreds of Evolus members I asked her again. "Well, do you have a planning partner? Because I sure don't." The word partner seemed to strike a chord in her as she looked at me strangely. "We'll just have to kill them all." She put it in simple terms. Haha, I'm going to die, well, I might as well die together with a beauty like you, partner," I said as I lost my mind at the situation I found myself in. "Bastard, Kale, yo-oo," I heard wailing as my previous opponent slowly approached us. His face had a disturbing makeover, it was now filled with bobbing bullet holes and the bleeding wouldn't stop. Looking at him gave me a shiver in my mind. Someone cast healing on him but to no avail. Instinctively, I took the drunken bone rapier from my inventory and prepared it with Soma's wine. Its dull blade suddenly lusters brightly, it starts releasing a deathly aura that attracts everyone, at the same time, arcs of lightning emit from its vicinity. Meanwhile, I can feel the rapier's hunger for battle, it was eagerly waiting to be unleashed. I started seeing death perception as well. "Are you done with your preparations?" Deadpanning she asked. I sighed and replied, "Very well Miss Level 5 Adventurer, lead the way, and I shall match you partner." She cleaned the blood on her face and said, "I don't have time to protect you, so try to match me." A piece of advice as soon as dismissal, the Tsunere took off as soon as she finished her words and I followed suit. I let the sword's aggressiveness guide my movements, I charged at the crowd of Evolus, cutting them one by one with all my might, as I dodged the oncoming attacks. Meanwhile, I follow the mesmerizing flying death known as Ryu Lion. Her lethal magic barrages killed countless enemies every passing second. I was so preoccupied with the fight that I didn't notice how beautiful the swordsmanship being released by the sword as it forcefully moved my body. My mind was too intent on watching for every possible danger than care for the exquisite swordsmanship being produced by the sword using my body. Unknown to me, it attracted everyone's attention, even the uncaring Rudra stood up on his throne to watch me. Ryu and my movements sync together as we fight, while she spreads death with her magic as she opens a path for me, I peerlessly struggle, slashing and stabbing, casting countless lightning towards my enemy. As I weaved through death towards the enemy non-stop for who knows how long, I began to feel the heavy exhaustion in my body. Everything was too quiet now, and I was too dizzy to know what was going on, so I shouted. "Is there more? Is there more?" I shouted in fear repeatedly as tears fell from my eyes. Finally, to answer my question, I felt someone hug me from behind. I turned to see who it was, and my vision cleared. "There's none left," a melodious feminine voice said. It was Ryu Lion. For a moment there was a trace of life and care in her eyes, but it was soon replaced by uncaring dead eyes as we both heard a clapping sound. Ryu Lion looked behind me towards the source. It was the bastard Rudra with a smug smile on his face as if mocking the mountain of death that fills his familia hall. "Bastard!" I shouted angrily. Ryu Lion let go of me and slowly walked towards Rudra. "You two are magnificent. I have never seen such a grand performance. I'd like to congratulate you for your feats, but," the bastard said. As Ryu Lion gets face to face with the god, she puts her stuff on his head and a resounding bang can be heard in the quiet hall. Rudra dropped dead on his spot, with a cocky smile on his face. "Finally," Ryu Lion muttered. Then Ryu Lion lost her balance and fell on the floor along with a blinding pillar of light made out of divinity flashed me. "Partner!" I screamed as I rushed at her when the god slowly ascended. When I reached her I finally got a good look at her. She was riddled with countless wounds and injuries. "Thank you for helping me with my revenge, and sorry for dragging you through this," she said weakly. "Don't worry, partner. It's all fine and dandy. Here, why don't you drink this healing potion?" I said as it made her gulp the healing potion. "No, it's fine. It's not so bad to end it this way. I won't make it," Ryu decided. "Don't give me that, Ryu Lion. Do you think your familia will be happy if you die like this? Otherwise, your familia might haunt me. Don't give up just yet. I can still save you," I sternly told her. For a moment there was a fighting spirit in her eyes as it slowly lost focus. I continued. "Be strong, Ryu Lion. There's a bright future waiting for you," I said. I grabbed her and carried her with both my arms and escaped the crime scene when I heard more commotion outside. As I carried her through the alleyways of my escape route, I heard her speak once more. "How unfair. I don't even know your name." "It's Judas Iscariot, but you can call me Black Emperor," I eagerly replied as I trudged the empty alleyways. She became worryingly quiet after that, but I continued my struggle towards my destination. Soon I reached my destination. It was the hostess of fertility. I loudly began knocking on the door and windows. Soon, I could hear Mia Grande angry shouting. That is when I left Ryu Lion in front of the entrance while I hid somewhere to witness what was about to transpire. Soon some people came out of the hostess. It was Mamma Mia accompanied by Sir Flova and Anya along with others. They began inspecting Ryu Lion. Soon they began taking care of Ryu Lion and brought out a stretcher to take her inside. Knowing she was in good hands I left and headed towards the Tower of Babel. The performance hasn't ended yet. I still have something important to do. Blank. Atop of the Tower of Babel, I stood. I sighed tiredly, but I needed to do this. I drew my drunken bone rapier and aimed it towards the skies. With all its might exhausting its power, I cast a thunder strong enough to light the entire city in light for a few seconds. And with the following quiet that ensues, I screamed at the top of my lungs with the eloquence of the Black Emperor. "Let it be known that I, the Black Emperor, have struck and killed the Rudra familia and their false god. Praise the Joker." As the light is slowly replaced by sunrise, I disappear without a trace along with the shadows. Chapter end. Thanks for reading. Fixes will be done tomorrow. I'm too tired. 18 comments 0 vote. Dreams and aspiration. Ryu Lion dreamed, and in her dream, she fought tirelessly with a man under the moonlight. The man dons shining dark armor. On top of his head is a crown signifying his status. As the man fights with endless vigor, his royal cape flutters non-stop. Meanwhile, his mighty rapier rends whoever meets its sharp end asunder. The man was unknown to Ryu. She didn't know where the man had come from, but she was thankful for him for some reason. So she fought with him, and the man followed him into the depths of the abyss. She watched the man as she fought and realized his complexity and seemingly countless contradictions. The man fought with reckless abandon but with the cautiousness of that of a veteran. His movements were stiff, yet his swordsmanship was like a beautiful moving painting. He cowardly fears for his life, yet he bravely continues to follow her to the heat of the fight instead of running away. He doesn't know her, yet he trusts her like a companion he has known for life, he even unabashedly calls her a partner. He looked like royalty, yet he gave off the aura of a commoner. It was honestly perplexing to her. His struggle for life was not only charming to Ryu Lion, she somehow felt it calling to her. She is reminded of the days before the disaster that struck her familia and wiped them out. As the fight goes on, their cooperation becomes more skillful and natural, they are fighting in total sync. She felt his burning passion within her. For someone like Ryu Lion who had given away her life for revenge, she felt his struggle intoxicating. When she finally confronted the strongest enemy, he was still there to assist her. Even in the impossible, he continues to aid her. His action didn't go thankless. And when the man dropped on his knees as soon the fight was over and once more contradictingly asked for more opponents to fight while he cried with tears falling from his pained eyes. She felt something inside her. She didn't know if it was out of obligation to drag him to her mess or as a twisted form of thanks, she had found herself comforting him even for a brief moment. When Lion completed her goal against the impossible, she felt all her strength leave. She was happy to end it this way. But the man didn't let her. He grabbed her and carried her like a princess. She wanted him to stop, but he didn't listen to her and sternly scolded her by telling her about the preciousness of life. Honestly, she didn't care and was more interested in why he cared so much about her. She had only felt such feelings from her familia. Not even her elven sisters give her such tender care. Ryu Lion wanted to know why and for what reasons he cared for her, but the man didn't answer and continued telling her the joys of life as he carried her on a dark pathway. Countless questions erupted from her, but none was answered. Soon Ryu Lion saw the light at the end of the tunnel. The man laid her down on her back with care. After saying something to her she didn't catch, the man starts walking away from me as I feel care being applied to my wounds. I screamed at him, telling him to stop and return to me. I screamed again asking him to answer my questions. But he continued walking. As he walks away, I hear him say, "It's time to wake up, partner. At least tell me your name." He stopped and looked at me. "You already know my name." He continued his walk again while the light slowly devoured my vision. And when Ryu Lion opened her eyes, she was greeted by a certain, bluish-gray-haired maid. Blank, underscore, blank. As I slumbered deeply, I dreamed of a place. I was sitting in front of a table with an empty plate and cup. Around me were 12 other people shrouded in mist doing the same. Meanwhile, another one, the one in the center, wasn't covered in fog. He had a beard, he exuded a gentle aura along with the charisma of a god. He looked at me and smiled gently. Then he grabbed the soul bread on the table and divided it into pieces as he gave us all one each. After all of us were given a piece, the charismatic man grabbed the soul grail on the table, and magically it was filled with wine. Again, he distributes to us the magical wine, the grail, seemingly infinite wine within it despite its size. I began to fill my stomach along with the others using the food he had given. Despite being so little, I felt my innards fill to the brim. There was festivity around me, everyone was talking in a foreign language that I didn't understand, including me. I stood up and left the festivities. When I returned, I came with a mad crowd carrying various weapons, from swords to sticks. The fogged beings looked shocked, but the charismatic man looked at me with a gentle smile. He said something I couldn't understand. As soon as his mouth closed, a blinding light erupted from behind. And when looked back, a horrifying sight greets me in the form of wings. The being was titanic beyond measure, its 6 wings covered in eyes were burning brightly. At the center of its symmetrical wings, was a human head, beautiful beyond understanding. I looked at it in fear but it said, "Do not be afraid. Judas, your journey will soon end, this is your last chance, make it count." The Lord said to look for the secret beneath. You'll find your answer them. That being said, the voice released a terrifying pressure, yet it was soothing at the same time. Suddenly his wings engulfed me. In fear, I screamed at myself to wake up from this nightmare. While sweating heavily I woke up from my sleep shouting. When I opened my eyes, it laid up the following system prompts. Congratulations on your grand feat, you have gained the following rewards. 2,500 points. Title, Performer of Secrets. Title: The One Who Courts Death. Perk: The One Who Courts Death. Perk: Sword Dancer. Congratulations on unlocking your 7th origin. Origin unlocked, Betrayer of Destiny. Although the rewards were great, my eyes were too focused on the red imp grinning evilly in front of my face. Blank, underscore, blank. Lily Rukaard finally finished reading the books she was given by her master. To celebrate, she decided to go outside to treat herself with a drink for a short rest. But when she got out of the door, there was a massive commotion going on the streets. Guild representatives and adventurers move around knocking on doors and asking people about a poster. Art decided to let her curiosity get the better of her and went to eavesdrop on one of the guild representatives. Have you seen people who look like this? No. Good. They're dangerous. If you see them, contact the guild immediately, and do not get close at all to them. The man was about to leave but Art blocked him. The man glared at her for a moment but softened his gaze when he realized she was just a child. See, can you tell Lily what's going on? The man took out 2 posters and showed them to Ard. The first one was a masked man with a black crown on his head while wearing an expensive full armor and cape with a bounty in the millions. The second one was a female hooded adventurer with thousands of bounties. These 2 are bad people, Oju-chan. Be careful when you see them. The man is called Black Emperor. He should be an evil cultist who follows a god called the Joker. He sternly said, then he sighed as he showed me the female poster. This one is Gale Wind. Former level 5 adventurer of Astrii Familia. She's dangerous as well. What did they do, mister? Art asked while her ears perked at the word Joker. The man's eyes suddenly became angry and shouted. What didn't they do is what you should ask, kid. They massacred hundreds of people in an entire familia. They even killed Rudra Sama, the god of Rudra Familia. What a damn mess. The man said as he went back to work. When the man left, Lily Rukaard used her brain to try and puzzle out the mysterious crime. Didn't Joker Sama say his favored ones would punish Rudra Familia for what they have done as part of Evolus? To think his favored ones can wipe an entire familia with a level 5 adventurer. He should be those strong and mysterious beyonders that Joker Sama said. As expected of Joker Sama, Ard was impressed but a little scared. She shakes her head at a certain thought. Joker Sama should be one of those righteous gods. As long as I do good, Joker Sama would praise me more and reward me. She smiled and her eyes lit up at the possibilities. To think not even an evil god can't escape Joker Sama's wrath. Beyonders sure have capable strength. As she imagined the fight, she bought her juice and returned home filled with excitement. Soon she will prepare her Beyonder ritual and drink the assassin potion. Blank, underscore, blank.